So, question number one, how do you write a book? Well, I write a book by sitting for rather longer than I would like to, bashing away at the keys on my laptop. But that's just the physical action of writing a book. The actual story tends to happen, everywhere really, anytime. Quite often out walking. I like to go for long walks in the countryside where I live. And when I'm doing that, then ideas tend to just come to me. And I'll think through these ideas, and then some things make it into the final book, and then some things won't. But 9 times out of 10, those ideas will get used somewhere. So, next question. How do you know what to write? Well, it's practice for one. I've been doing this quite a long time now, but what I would say is that the more I think through something before I start writing, the better it's likely to be. So, like I said, I'll go for walks and it's almost like I audition ideas, I try things out in my head, and some things work and some things don't. And the things that do work, I go into in more detail when I sit down at the computer. But it might be that it's just that it wasn't an idea that was right for, say, a fiction book. Even if it didn't work in a fiction book, it could make a really good picture book. Speaking of which, do you do the pictures? Well, yes, I do illustrate most of my own books. Although I've written 2 books that Christine Pym has illustrated, Goat's Coat and Dream Big Little Mole. So I've always loved Christine's artwork, and I was so happy that she agreed to illustrate these books, and it's always just a delight when I see her artwork, because it just really brings the story to life for me. So, have you ever bought one of your own books? Well, yes, I have bought one of my own books, just the once, and it was only because I'd promised to post one out to a friend and didn't have any of my free copies left. But it definitely feels strange buying a copy of your own book, and I very much hoped that I wasn't going to be recognised doing it. How do you make a story? So, I make a story by thinking of a problem first. So it could be a real life, everyday problem, or it could be something more outlandish and unusual. But to my mind, the bulk of storytelling is problem solving. Your characters need to go on a journey which usually involves some sort of a problem. But before they can do that, you need to know what the problem is. So I always start by thinking of a problem that needs solving, and then I just go on from there. Next question. Do you like your books? Well, yes, I would say that I do like my books. A few of the early ones, like Tobias and the Super Spooky Ghost Book and A Home for Mr. Tips, are certainly not without their flaws, but even so, I'm really fond of them, and there are sections in both of those books that I still really love. So next, how do you get your ideas? Well, I think that ideas literally come from everywhere. So I might overhear something that 2 strangers are talking about. I might see something that one of my children does. Perhaps I might remember something that happened to me when I was a child. It could be, it's literally anything. It could be that I think up funny rhyming words and see where that takes me. I might be out for a walk and there might be a sudden change in the weather that makes a place turn from seeming warm and welcoming to somewhere hostile and unnerving. There could be a hole in a tree stump which could house all sorts of magical creatures. I think that ideas are everywhere, and all I have to do is keep my eyes open and listen carefully. So the great thing about having ideas is that it's just like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So there you go. Those are your questions, and I hope that helped.